Channel. You're watching React 30-day challenge, and today we will be working on responding to events. So let's see what events mean by React. React lets you add event handler to your JSX. Every event handler are your own function that will be triggered in the response of clicking, hovering, focusing, form input, and so on. So basically anything with when user interact with, to handle that, or to do your own logic when user, based on your user action, we use event handler. What we will going to learn today: different ways to write an event handler, how to pass event handler logic from a parent component, how event propagates, and how to stop them. Okay, let's start. Adding event handlers. To add an event handler, you first define a function and then pass it as a props to appropriate JSS stack. For example, here the button doesn't do anything yet. So this is a button, it doesn't do anything yet. So basically it's saying you will first define a function. Okay, so in your component function, inside that you have to write a function where you will add the logic, what will be your reaction to your user action, and then you will pass that function as a prop to your event handler. Let's see how this is done. So they have given an example of a button. So this button doesn't do anything. Now you can make it or show a message when a user click by following 3 steps. Okay, declare a function called handle click inside your button component. Okay, so what they did, they declare a function here, name handle click, and it alerts you clicked me. Implement the logic inside the function using alert to show the message. So this is the logic, basically to alert, to show the message. Add on click equal to handle click to button JSX. So if we go to our JSX, you need to write on click. So basically it tells JSX that on the whenever user click on this button, you need to run this function. Okay, so I'm gonna add this in our nodes to give you a basic understanding how to write a JSX here. So this is our topic called adding events handler. So I'm gonna write adding events handler. I'm just gonna paste this. Okay, now if I click on this, you can see an alert message. Okay, you define the handle click function and then pass it as a props. See, pass it as a props is very important. You are passing it only, you are not calling it. Okay, it's a huge difference. In your JSX, you are just passing the event handler, you never call it. It will be called only and only when the user interact with it. The handle click is an event handler function are usually defined inside your component, have a name that starts with handle followed by the name of the event. So this is important point to be remembered about event handlers. Okay, by convention it is common to name your event handler as handle followed by the event name. You will see on click will be handle click, on mouse enter function name will be handle mouse enter, and so on. Alternatively, you can define an event handler inline in JSX. So basically instead of writing your function above your JSX, you can just write on inline. So on click you write a function handle click alert, you clicked me. Remember, still this is not being called, this is just you're writing a function, and this will be only called when you click it. More concisely, using an arrow function, you can use an arrow function as well. If you don't understand what an arrow function is, I will highly recommend to go to MDN website and check out the JS. They have a very good resource to learn about JavaScript. All these styles are equivalent. Inline event handlers are convenient and are short functions. So basically, if you have a very short logic like here, alert, you can use that. Pitfall, okay? The function passed to event handler must passed, not called. So as I was mentioning earlier, it should be only passed and should not be called. Passing function, correct. Calling function, incorrect. Now, what is the difference? Okay, so they explain it. I'll explain it here as well. So if you pass a function, it will be called when user interact with it. But if you call a function, it will be called whenever the component render, whenever the button is placed in your virtual DOM, it will be called. So that is why you should always pass a function. So what they're saying, the difference is subtle. In the first example, handler click function is passed as on click event handler. This tells the React to remember it and only a function when user click on the button. In the second example, at the end of handler fires the function immediately during render without any clicks. This because JavaScript inside JSX execute it right away. When you write code inline, the same pitfall presents itself. So passing a function button on click here, whereas calling a function is actually, just writing alert. Pass inline code like this won't fire on click, it fires every time the component renders. So let's add this. So passing a function and calling a function, the differences is there. Okay. Then the difference is subtle. Okay. If you're able to hear this cow mooing and stuff, my apologies. Sorry, I live in a village area side, so it's fun most of the time, but yeah. Okay, this is. The difference is subtle. Okay. If you want to define event handler in line wrap, you can just write an asynchronous function, anonymous function, rather than executing code. This create a function to be later called. In both cases, you want to pass a function. Basically, in a sense, just pass a function, do not call it. Reading props in event handler. Because event handler are declared inside your component, they have access to your component props. Okay, so since event handler declare it's inside the component, they have component props. Here's the button that when click show an alert message. So suppose you're getting a message from your parent, and when you click on this button, you can show this message. So basically, they are trying to say whatever is inside your component can be accessed to your event handler, whether it's a prop, it's a variable, or even it's a state. Okay, play music, playing. So this message is coming from my parent. Uploading is also coming from my parent component. This lets these two buttons show different message, trying to change the message passed to them. Okay, passing event handlers as a props. This is important. Often you want the parent component to specify child's event handler. So basically, oftentimes what happens, parent component wants to control their child completely. So they want to even have an access to their event handlers. Consider buttons. Depending on whether you're using button component, you might want to execute different function. Perhaps one play music and another uploads the image. To do this, pass some props on component receiving from its parents and even so. So basically what they're saying, you can create a common button component which basically does anything related to clicking, and this clicking could be anything like image uploading or playing a movie. To do that, what you will do, you will create a common component called button which handles the click. Now what kind of a click will be sent from your parent component? Basically the parent will be telling, okay, right now I want to upload a image, so the button will accommodate based on the parent handlers, what parent is giving. So how this is done, so you have, as I said, you have a common component called button, and it has something called on click. Now you have to remember something. If there is something called on written, assume like if that person or the coder is a good React developers just know this will be an event. So event handler. So on, if you get something called some variable or props name as on, assume it's a event handler. And on click, this handler will be called from the parent component. And let's see our parent component, which is a play button. So okay, it's sending this event handle play click, and you're getting this movie name, and the alert will be showing the movie name, and this movie name is coming from basically, yeah, here, movie Kiki delivery service. Okay, and if you see the upload button, it's just alerting on the spot, or it's giving on click this inline function. So let's see, play Kiki delivery service, it's playing Kiki delivery service. So basically what happened, let's see the play one. First thing first, let's go to our parent component, which is a toolbar. So toolbar is calling play button, and it's sending a props movie name, and the movie name is Kiki delivery service. Have you seen this movie? It's a very nice movie actually. I think it's an anime one, if I'm not wrong. Sorry, but it's really fun movie to watch. The girl is a witch or something, not remember quite. Okay, so this play button is here, and it has an event handler on click, and its event handler it has an event on click, and handler name is handle play kick. Play kick is this alert. Now this, they are sending on click as a prop to button. Button will have on click here. So basically what happens is that if someone clicks this button, this it will trigger on click in play button. Okay, and on click play button will trigger handle play click, and then you will able to see alert playing, and the movie name you got it from your its own parent component, which was toolbar. Okay, now toolbar has another button, which is upload button. Upload button component, again called button component. It send an on click props as an event, but here instead of having an event handler in their function, they have just like write it in inline. So basically whenever somebody clicks this button here, it will trigger automatically this one. So if you click on uploading image, this should work. Okay, let's see what they are explaining here. The toolbar component renders play button and an upload button. Okay, play button passes handle click as a click, on click props to button inside, and upload passes this whole inline function alert as a click props inside the button. Finally, your button component accept a prop called on click. It passes directly to built-in browser button and on click with on click, and the name is on click here. This tells the React to call the passed function on click. If you use design system, it's common for component like button to contain styling but not a specific behavior. Instead, component like play button and upload button will pass event handlers. So basically if you use design system, you will have a component just solely based on button. Awesome. So do we have anything to add? I don't think so here. Let's see. I mean, you already see. I mean, we can add this as well. This is also something. Okay. Okay, we are done with this. We have understood this part. Okay, now naming event handler props. This is important to know the common conventions used, because probably somebody will be reading your code, or you will be reading somebody else's code, So it's easy to, have a common nomenclature to understand what exactly per person wants to say. Built-in component like button, div only support browser event name like onClick. However, when you're building your own component, you can name their event handler props any way you want to like. By convention, handler props should start with on and followed by a capital letter. This is important. So your handler props, event handler should be start with. Props should be start with on followed by a capital letter. So I'm gonna add this as well. For example, the button component on click props could have been called on smash. So where is our on smash? So basically we can call this, instead of on click, you can write it on smash, send it on smash, and this function will be called whenever this button is being clicked. In this example, button on click smash shows the browser button, lowercase, still need a props called on click, but the props name received by your custom button component is up to you. Okay. So basically what they're trying to say, this on click for a button should be fixed. Like for a button, you should always use on click. Whereas for your inbuilt or your own created component like this button component which you have created, okay, there is no such component present in React. In that, whatever event handler props you can write, the name you, whatever name you want to write, you can write. Like you can write on smash, on hit, on like, on upload. So you can do that as well. So let's check. In this example on show shows that the browser button still needs a props call on click, but the props name received by custom button is up to you. We know that. When your components support multiple interaction, you might name event handler for app specific concepts. Like for this toolbar, component receive on play movie, on play image upload. So basically when you have a large number of components, it's important to name specific names so that you can actually understand what exactly is happening. Like here on play movie, on play up to upload image, we have given for based on our action. Some notice how the app component does not need to know what toolbar will on movie and on upload image. Okay, so it's saying app component does not have to worry about what toolbar is doing with this. Okay, so why this is good, that's an implementation detail of toolbar. Here toolbar passed down as on click handlers as button, but if we could later trigger on the keyboard shortcut, naming them app specific action, give them flexibility. Okay, let's check this. That's an implementation detail toolbar. Here toolbar passes them down as on click handlers to its button S. Okay, but it could later also trigger them on the keyboard shortcut, naming the props after app specific interaction like play unplay movie gives you flexibility to change how they are used later. So basically they are saying whatever you try, or you can update this based on your requirement or toolbar requirement without affecting the app. So, propagation, event handler will also catch event from any child your component might have. So basically it will create kind of a loop or a tree where if your parents have information about your child event handler as well, we say that event bubble or propagates up the tree. It starts where the event happened and then goes up to the tree. So suppose there is something happen in your child, then from child it will go to parent, then parent to grandparent, same. So I'm gonna add this. This is what event propagation means, to going event from parent to child, child to parent, parent to grandparent. Let's add this as well. Okay. This div contains two buttons. Both div and each button have their own on click handler. Which handler do you think will fire when you click a button. So we have a toolbar here. Okay, toolbar has a div, the first div or the initial div, which has a on click button. So on click alerts you click the toolbar. Then we have a button on click which alerts playing when you click play movie. And there is another button which is called upload image and which alerts uploading when you click on that. So what do you think will happen if you click any of this? So let's see. I'm gonna open this in a new tab to have a better look of that. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Let it be, stopped. Okay. So first thing first, I'm gonna click on the toolbar. So as expected, you clicked on the toolbar will be shown. Now if I click on play movie, playing is being showed, and then you clicked on toolbar, both will be shown. Same goes with upload image, uploading will be shown, and then you have clicked a toolbar, both has been shown. So suppose if you click any event handler in your child, the parent will also be automatically activated. So it's kind of making sense as well, right? So this function will be activated, or this event handler props will be worked whenever you click on this div. This whole part, this whole gray area, even including the button, comes under this div. So basically it works. It doesn't matter if it's a button or if it's an image. If you click it, this has to be shown. Now for each button there is another click handler, so if you click on this, that will be shown independently. What is depends on which button you want to show. Okay, so if you click on either button, it clicks will run first, followed by the parent on click. The to message will appear. If you click the toolbar itself, only the parent divs on click will run. So we saw that. Pitfall: all event propagates in React except on scroll, which only works when JSS tag you attach to it. Okay. It, it, it makes sense, right? Like if there is a scroll, unless until you scroll it here, the event will not be activated. It doesn't matter if you try to scroll your parent or the child. So it's important. It's a good point to keep in mind. Like for scroll, independent, the parent and child event handler tree propagation will not be happening. Okay. Stopping propagation. Event handler receive an event object as their only argument. By convention, it's usually called E, okay, which is stand for event. You can use this object to read information about event, okay. That event object also lets you stop propagation. If you want to prevent an event reaching a parent component, you need to call stop propagation also. So basically what they are saying, when you click or when you click any event handler props, it will send an object called event or E, and this event object will have certain methods, and you can use one of the method called stop propagation, and what this will do, it will stop your parent's event handler. So this is important as well, how to stop your stop second stop event propagation. I'll just add this. So okay, so like in our previous example, we have a button here. On click, it will stop the event propagation on click. So whatever the children inside in this button, whatever, if you click on this, it will not go to your parent. So like toolbar we have, right? So if what earlier we were doing, if we click on this, first your play movie playing will show, then your toolbar message will show, but now it won't. Only once one message will be shown. When you click a button, React calls on click handler pass to buttons. That handler defines a button, does the following. Calls e dot stop propagation, prevents the event from bubbling further. Call on click function, which is a prop passed from the toolbar component. That function defines the toolbar component, display the button on alert. Since propagation was stopped, the parent step on click handler does not run. As a result, event.stop propagation clicking on the button shows only the single alert rather than showing two of them from the button and the parents too. Clicking a button is not same thing as clicking surrounding toolbar, so stopping the propagation makes sense for the UI. That is true. Deep dive capture phase event. Okay, let's see what this is. In rare cases, you might need to catch all event on child element even if they stop propagation. For example, maybe you want to log every click to analyze regardless of the propagation logic. You can do by adding capture. Okay. So suppose if I click on this e stop propagation, it will not run my parent click handler. So it travels down, calling on click capture handler. It runs the click element on click handler. It travels upward, calling on click handler. Capture events are useful for code like router or as analytics, but you probably won't use them in your app code. So basically, you click stop propagation on click. This is button one. So you can add one more code to this handler before calling parents on click. Handler 2, this provides an alternative to propagation. It lets the child comprehend the event while also letting the parent component specify additional behavior. Unlike propagation, it's not automatic but benefit this pattern. Okay, I'm gonna add this one as well in rare case, even if you okay, but they have not shown right where this capture is being written. Oh, so on click capture. Okay, so you need to write on click capture event. This will capture that this button has, there is a button clicked, but what kind of button clicks we don't know. Okay, some passing handlers as an alternative propagation. Notice how this click handler runs in a line of code, then calls on click. Okay, yes, you could add more code to this handler before calling the parent on click event handler 2. This pattern provides an alternative to propagation. It lets the child component handle the event, will also letting the parent specify some additional behavior.